The Louvre is the world's largest art museum by exhibition area. It would take months to view all the artwork it houses, even if you spent just 30 seconds or so on each piece. Among the many categories here, one theme that cannot be overlooked is revolution. In fact, beyond the Louvre, throughout Paris, revolution is an ever-present motif. Among artworks commemorating the French Revolution in Paris, my favorite is a painting in the collection at the French National Library. On October 5, 1789, 7,000 women gathered in the streets to protest before the king, who had withdrawn to the Palace of Versailles. Their march was driven by the rising price of bread. My name is Zhang Yunjia, and I'm a chef from China's Yunnan province. Together with my good friend Jun Wu, I'm exploring food that connects China and France.
Bonjour vous!
In this episode, I follow Grain on a surprising journey across France, experiencing traditions that have endured for more than a century. Back in China, I traveled to the Loess Plateau to explore the region's long-standing wheat-based food culture. On these particular adventures, I pursue not only flavors, but also the ways in which humans use the simplest seeds to create tastes and memories that transcend geographical borders. Welcome to Paris. The city's main urban area is actually quite small. It's about 12 kilometers from east to west and 9.5 kilometers from north to south. Driving around it takes less than an hour. But believe me, you don't want to drive in Paris. On top of traffic jams, parking fees can reach as high as 18 euros per hour, expensive by Chinese standards. A 2.5 euro ticket allows you a single journey on one of the numerous lines of the Paris metro system. As one of the city's main modes of public transport, the metro carries millions of passengers daily. Whenever fares increase, Parisians complain more punctually than trains could ever run. From Line 5, get off at République Station, exit onto Boulevard de Magenta, walk north for a few minutes, and you'll find a boulangerie highly favored by Parisian food editors, du pain et des idées.
Bonjour.
Bonjour! Comment allez-vous?
Yeah, hi Christophe. I'm looking for your signature bread.
Here it is.
Can I taste it?
Sure. For you, because any customer who would come in and ask for a taste, no, sorry, you buy it, but okay? Try this, because the characteristic is the crust. Very few bakers do toasted bread like this. You see how thick is the crust?
Yeah,
That used to be the signature of bread in France 50 years ago. It's no longer the case.
The crust is the king.
Yeah.
The signature product Christophe asked me to taste is called French country bread. Its history predates that of the baguette we know today. In 2008, Christophe earned the title of Best Baker in Paris, thanks in no small part to this bread. Its defining feature is the crispy, hard crust. The French lean into the philosophy of the crispier the crust, the better the bread.
Okay, maybe you can lead me to the kitchen.
Sure, I'll show you the dough. Voilà. Ça, c'est le pain des amis. Voilà.
Wow, that's a big loaf of bread.
One piece of bread like that per person, per adult, per day. 100 years ago, easily.
That's the most interesting thing is that I thought the people purchased the baguette instead.
No, from the 50s, they started purchasing a lot of baguettes. But before that, no, they were eating big loaves.
French country bread has origins in the Middle Ages. It has a history several hundred years older than that of the modern baguette. But just how important is it to the French? Well, in 1993, the French Parliament passed Le Décret Pain, a set of strict rules stipulating that products sold as French bread may only contain water, salt, flour, and yeast or sourdough. This means if butter, fruit, or other ingredients are added to the dough, it cannot be called French bread. For this reason, the French have invented a variety of beautiful names for their many other types of bread. Pain au raisin, croissant, brioche. Each has its own unique flavor, yet they are clearly distinguished from French bread. "10,000 years ago, humans domesticated wheat, marking the dawn of agricultural societies. However, as early as 20,000 years ago, our ancestors were already consuming it, using tools to grind it into flour, thus making it easier to store, cook, and digest. As civilization evolved, mills gradually became gathering places for us humans. Today, we're in Verdelot, visiting a century-old mill. Julien, the mill's owner, is waiting for us.
Best flour and best baker.
Exactly.
And you have an amazing bread. Huh?
Yes, in France.
Yeah.
Over the past century, grinding wheat into flour has remained relatively unchanged, from stone mills to roller machines, and finally to fully automated equipment. Whether powered by manpower, water, or electricity, the job gets done. Julien's old mill houses and preserves several traditional water wheel-driven roller mills. Getting them to move is not quite as simple as turning on a faucet.
Yep, up.
Can I try?
Yes. It's hard, huh? Very heavy, huh? Can I help you?
Yes. It's far more heavy than I thought.
Enormous amounts of energy were once required to produce fine flour, so only nobility could afford white bread. Today, generally for health reasons, people have come to favor whole wheat flour. This is rich in dietary fiber and has a rough texture. Humans have continuously evolved milling technology, creating more efficient equipment in response to a massive demand driven by the population boom. In Julien's modern workshop, automatic milling equipment operates around the clock, processing 450 tons of wheat each day. Wheat is ground to various granule sizes to meet different needs. According to the National Association of French Milling, as of 2024, the country was home to more than 380 mills, similar in style to Julien's. Milled flour is sorted and packaged by machines, loaded onto trucks, and shipped by ocean-going freighters to dining tables around the world, with approximately 13,000 tons destined for China. On the journey from Verdelot to Dijon, we passed through another of France's significant grain-growing regions. The grain here offers a firm, chewy texture and is believed to have been domesticated less than 2,000 years ago. It's even resilient in cold temperatures, drought, and low-quality soil. With kernels darker than wheat, it is called rye, but the Chinese call it black wheat. As a complement to wheat, rye was the staple food for Europeans during the Middle Ages. Even today, rye still accounts for a significant amount of France's grain production, being used to make bread, cookies, and beer. Here in Dijon, it is crafted into the unique Dijon gingerbread.
在我以前的印象里呢，姜饼是姜饼人，也是可以搭姜饼屋的饼干，但在地龙的姜饼是完全不一样的。我们一起去看看吧。This is your classic gingerbread.
Not exactly. This
Okay.
is a gingerbread for kids. The classic gingerbread is more this one with wheat
Oh, it's
flour.
kind of like, okay, it's kind of like a loaf of bread. When you make it, the process of baking, is it different?
You can discover all about gingerbread and history and process in our museum, the
Oh, you
factory.
have museum,
Yeah, this is where we fabricate gingerbread.
Oh, this is really cute. Look at.
It's like 2 kilometers around here.
On my way to the Gingerbread Museum, I kept wondering where the story of gingerbread truly began. Then I heard an unfamiliar term: spice bread.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hi,
Hello.
Catherine.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Yes. We say that the spice bread is coming from China.
No way. This
It
Dijon
is. Yes, it
from
is.
China
Yeah.
originally.
And the story is that it was used by the riders of Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan
Yeah.
brought the bread.
Yeah. Well, we call it honey bread.
It's a long way trip
Yes.
from Asia to
Spice
Europe.
Arabia, and then the Christians with the crusade all over Europe. You can find spice bread.
Yeah, but at the end, it did a good thing, brought a sweetness thing to Dijon.
So the French believe that gingerbread originated in China? This actually makes sense. Ingredients have always been shared through cultural exchange. Wheat, coriander, and carrots spread from west to east. Rice, citrus, and sugar traveled in the opposite way. So, is gingerbread bread or a cookie? Is the gingerbread, like this, or this? Well, here in Dijon, gingerbread is like this, and this. I'll let Catherine explain why.
Because, it is an English translation, pain d'épices in gingerbread. In Germany, it's Lebkuchen, it's pain de vie, live bread, I think every country has
Different
its-
understanding for
yes,
a certain
and
thing.
tradition.
Each country has its own version of gingerbread, distinguished by texture and ingredients. Dijon gingerbread is unique because the dough is kneaded using only syrup and honey without a single drop of water.
浓稠的蜂蜜
Unlike gingerbread from Germany, Poland, and Sweden, egg is added during the kneading of the dough.
哇，比我想的还要黏哎，这个像巨大的一块太妃糖。
The mixer fully blends egg into the dough, producing a delicate, elastic, and slightly stringy texture. This looks perfect. Before baking, various ingredients are added to the dough such as orange peel, nuts, and ginger. The dough is then neatly placed onto traditional wooden baking boards and brushed with a layer of vegetable oil. Compared with standard metal trays, these wooden boards help give the gingerbread crust a deeper color and richer aroma, while keeping the interior moist. This ultimately gives Dijon gingerbread its distinctive texture. Catherine's family has a gingerbread history of over 200 years, during which a romantic legend has been passed down. Unmarried women who eat a piece of gingerbread under the Christmas tree will spend the coming year with the one they will love forever. It seems, when it comes to seeking good fortune, the French are just as enthusiastic as the Chinese. I was inspired to pair gingerbread with root vegetables, cheese, and greens. My first dish is gingerbread with goat cheese and cucumber. I chose cucumbers just picked this morning. Their crisp, fresh flavor perfectly balances the rich taste of the gingerbread and goat cheese. My second dish pairs gingerbread with pickled Nameko mushrooms and lettuce. I love the mix of textures, crisp lettuce with chewy mushrooms. Combined with gingerbread, this creates a rich mouthfeel. My third dish features gingerbread with beets and shredded carrots. Their bright colors and natural sweetness complement the gingerbread. This combination is both visually appealing and well-balanced in flavor. I highly recommend experimenting with gingerbread. Driving west from Dijon, you reach the old town of Saint-Malo in just 6 hours. Along the Atlantic coast, this is France's westernmost point. My friend Jun Wu sought out seafood here earlier in the series, but I'm captivated by another distinctly French snack, the buckwheat crepe.
在圣马洛有一家开了40年的老店，是当地人认证过的本地可丽饼天花板。Bonjour, morning. Can I have a complete veggie garlic? Yes. 这个跟煎饼果子真是太像了，先摊饼，然后再打一个鸡蛋。阿斯纳在这里已经工作了4年了，难怪动作那么娴熟。放了口蘑、芝士、番茄、洋葱。和我们中国的煎饼果子很不一样的是，可丽饼它的这个皮煎到后面它应该是脆的，但我们的煎饼果子它应该摊的会比较厚一点。 在这个平板上摊开之后，它会有点像面皮的口感。当然，对于布列塔尼人来说，少不了的就是他们的黄油。好了，我的可丽饼出锅啦 ！Thank you, Maxi。看，这个蛋黄还是流心的，哇！ 脆的刚刚好，可以尝得出荞麦自带的一个清甜，其实还有一点淡淡的苦味。吃可丽饼用刀叉，我还是觉得不过瘾，直接上手。
Many say that crepes and jianbing are very similar, yet they differ greatly. A chef in Brittany takes about 3 to 4 minutes to make a basic crepe, which then sells for 10 euros. That's about 80 RMB. In China, a skilled vendor can prepare a basic jianbing in less than a minute for just 5 RMB. 8 RMB if you add sausage and crispy fritter, around 1 euro at most. So, which one would you choose? The good news is you can enjoy crepes at home. My inspiration comes from the family recipes of Saint-Malo. I plan to make 1 savory and 1 sweet crepe. First, mix equal parts of buckwheat and wheat flour, then add milk to create a thin, smooth batter. For the savory crepe, I chose fresh tomatoes, mushrooms, bell peppers, and asparagus as fillings. Simply spread the ingredients over the crepe and allow the buckwheat flavor to blend perfectly with the vegetables. Salty, sweet, sour, and savory tastes mingle to offer a rich culinary experience. Making the sweet berry crepe, however, is more challenging. In Saint-Malo, there is a tradition. One hand flips the crepe in the pan, while the other holds a coin. If the crepe does not fall apart and the coin stays securely in hand, it symbolizes good luck, wealth, and a bountiful harvest in the year ahead. The Brittany region is the area of France where the most buckwheat is cultivated. Many painters have captured precious moments shared between the Breton people and buckwheat. The history of buckwheat consumption in France dates to the 14th century, but this grain was first cultivated on the Loess Plateau in northern China around 5,000 years ago. Ningxia, located on the northwestern edge of the plateau, has long been an important buckwheat-producing region in China. The soil here mainly consists of the plateau's distinctive loess and sandy loam, which are loose, breathable, and well-drained, ideal for buckwheat cultivation. Join me as we discover how locals here enjoy their buckwheat. I head to the home of the Bailan sisters, residents of Nangguan village. Though a little camera-shy, they are known as the rural village's top chefs. Today, they will share with me their 3 favorite buckwheat dishes. The first is buckwheat pancakes. Due to the significant temperature difference between day and night in the region, the buckwheat accumulates more amino acids. The rich aroma of the grain combines with the delicate scent of flaxseed oil to create a refreshing taste.
麦子上还有淡淡的瓜子仁的味道，还有你们用亚麻籽仁，不管煎东西、凉拌、做什么都好吃。
标准的四川制。
油炸甜甜圈，宁夏甜甜圈，下锅。
The second dish involves deep frying. Dough, fermented overnight, fully releases caramelized sugars and starch through frying, resulting in a crisp exterior and a soft, tender interior. The third dish uses dough made with boiling water. Buckwheat flour is poured directly into boiling water and stirred rapidly for 3 minutes, allowing the starch to fully gelatinize for a delicate and smooth texture.
别说这嚼起来真费劲呢。
The buckwheat recipes of the Bailan sisters have been passed down through generations. This trip to Ningxia showed me that people here understand buckwheat and other grains far more deeply than I'd ever imagined. I had always thought of Ningxia as a barren land of water scarcity. Who would have thought that today, Wuzhong City has developed a dim sum culture as rich as that of southern China? Historically, Wuzhong was a vital transportation hub, the crossroads of farming and herding, situated along the northern route of the Silk Road. It has embraced central China's tea culture while also preserving the distinctive flavors of grain.
看我现在的这桌就是吴中早茶，满满的碳水。我选了几样我特别想吃的，一个烤饼配酥子，种子配碳水。宁夏人喜欢用胡麻油作为他们的日常食用油，赋予了炸物特殊的香气。红绿丝、蔓越莓，酸酸甜甜的，还非常解腻。还有宁夏的甜甜圈、荞麦。 油圈圈，和云南人一样，宁夏人特别擅长用荞麦这种谷物去制作各种各样的面食。
All grains are seeds, serving both as food and carriers of culture. From the Seine in France to China's Yellow River, from wild plants to domesticated crops, grains have accompanied human civilization regardless of geography or climate. What we seek to explore is not only the methods of cultivating and cooking buckwheat, wheat, and rye, but also the story of coexistence and symbiosis between grains and humans. We celebrate how these grains have historically journeyed from farm to table.